Red flag, blue flag, uniforms pristine, lie together in a field on screen. When you're oh so proud, you don't back down. He wants coffee, she wants lemon tea. Every day they live to disagree, but they're oh so proud and won't back down. The sun goes down, the world goes round, and so it starts again. The sun goes down, the world goes round, and so it starts again. No compromise with enemies and friends. 1940, 1939, World War III lurks further down the line, 'cause we're all so proud and won't back down. He takes taxi, she prefers to walk. One more reason why they never talk, but they're all so proud and won't back down. The sun goes down, the world goes round, and so it starts again. The sun goes down, the world goes round, and so it starts again. No compromise with enemies and friends. Ra-pa-pa, ra-ra-pa-pa, da-da-da-da-da. No compromise with enemies and friends. The world goes round, and so it starts again. The sun goes down, the world goes round, and so it starts again. No compromise with enemies and friends. The world goes round, and so it starts again. The sun goes down, the world goes round, and so
Good evening, my dear friends. Thank you for joining me on this, the 18th live stream. Right, while I'm just saying my opening blurb, Lynn is currently scurrying down the stairs to see if everything's working properly and nothing is distorting, because there's a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds delay. She's just run up and done this, so presumably you can hear everything. Right, so it seems like it's been ages since I was last here. I've actually been on holiday for a few weeks. I didn't tell anyone for obvious reasons. You know, you don't put online now, do you? Oh, by the way, I'm going on holiday for a few weeks if you fancy coming around with your mates and bagel me house. So we, you know, anyway, I've been Lynn and I went over to Portugal, beautiful country. Spent a lot of time there. So that's where we were. But we did, I did manage to get some videos. Did manage to get some videos up prepared before we went, so to con everybody into thinking that we were still here, of course. Right, so anyway, let's have a look at what we've been up to. So it's the 18th live stream. Now remember, for those, I had loads of new subscribers this month. I had over 1,000 in the last few days. Can you believe that? I'll tell you about the video that caused that surge in a minute, but I'd like to welcome any of those new subscribers that were joining me tonight for the first time. Anyway, it's the 18th live stream. This particular, all these live streams are about you folks. All the videos that I put up, it's your opportunity to converse with me, good word, converse in real time and question me about things that you might not get, or the things you want me to go over, or songs you might want me to do that I haven't yet done, of which there are probably thousands. Well, there are hundreds of thousands. You can ask me anything you like. I'm looking at my notes. You know, anything about your playing that you can't get right, I can help you with it if you give us a shout. Now we're going to be talking about last month's, well, this upload in a minute. Water, it's hot. I've had an accident. I'll tell you about it in a sec. Nothing serious. But before we do that, hit the like button because that circulates the video. Or subscribe to the channel. Now, for you old folks like me, it doesn't mean you buy anything. It just means you join in a club, all right? You know, and when I put a video up, it tells you that I've got it up, all right? And if you don't like it, you can just click the button again and it'll go away. But you know, it's the more you subscribe, then the more people get to see it, and the more free stuff we can get out. Because don't forget, everything on the channel is 100% free, and it's brought to you by all my good friends that support me via my Patreon platform, which I set up a few months ago around Christmas, I think. And people very kindly donate to that channel, which allows me to spend a lot more time writing stuff out like this, because they take ages sometimes. So you know, thanks to all my Patreon subscribers for keeping the whole thing, keeping the show on the road, and also to everyone who donates via the thanks button. There's one at the bottom of this, to the Tea and Coffee Fund, because while I'm doing it, I drink loads of tea and coffee. All right, so now while I'm blurbing and blabbing, this is your opportunity to start getting those questions in. All right, because don't forget, it's all about you. If you don't ask any questions, it's going to be a very short live stream, okay? Because that's the way this thing works. You ask me something, and then I answer it. Now remember, the ones that there's a super chat button. That's if you click that and you put a small donation, then that is highlighted and it shines out like a shaft of gold, while all around is dark. All right. So if you do the super chat button and donate to the Tea and Coffee Fund, by doing so, then your thing jumps out and I get to see it quickly, and I will answer it straight away. So while you're writing out your questions and trying to find the super chat button, which will be on the bottom right of your screen by the little icons, and let's have a look at what we're doing.
That just to start with.
Oh.
Jelly stitch.
Oh yeah.
7. Just
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is from a good friend of mine. This was all our friends in Texas. Jelly Stitch 357. Our prayers are with you, everybody in Texas. We all know about the flood. We've been listening to it in the UK. So there's nothing really anyone can say. We just, you know, hope and pray that some of those people are found. So we're thinking of you. We really are. It's been all over the news in Britain. It's all over the news. Yeah, there's nothing really in words. You can't put into words how people must be feeling about that. So yeah, we're thinking about you there. So what do we get up to last month? Well, we did. I did a lesson. Well, it wasn't a lesson. I have a lot of people. They see me playing this 12-string guitar. You know, this one. Now, for those people that ask you to Fender, a Fender, they make great electrics. They don't make brilliant acoustics, Fender. But this one, it's a mate of mine. This it's called Brian Reel. He's good. He's been a student of mine for about 10 years. Now, this one is what is it? It's a model CJ290S. CE12, whatever. So can you see inside that? Because people always ask me what make guitar is. I never know what they are. I just play them, and if they sound good, I'll use them. But it's a nice big one, because the chunkier the guitar, the better the sound. So I was explaining to folk. Get a great sound. I use them all the time in a recording studio, and of course, being a big Genesis fan, you know, early Genesis, they use 12 strings on everything, and I use them all the time as well. They're beautiful instruments. So we, if you've got any questions about 12-string guitars and all that sort of stuff, any queries, this is your opportunity to ask me about them. All right. So 12 strings, we had a look at that one. Should I buy one? That was the question. That was the that's what the video was about. 12-string guitar, should I buy one? So we did that, and then I did a Beatles track. I'll use this one. How did it work? Where did it go? Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she woos me. Don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. Where was it go? Anyway, we did that one. Something. I'll have to look at this guy on the internet called Rob Fennah. He'll show me how to play it properly. So we did that one. Then we did Life on Mars by David Bowie. That's a challenging one. I had to do an arrangement of that on the guitar. I won't bother playing them all. You've heard it, me doing them. So we did that one. There she is again.
Just slightly put this down. Sorry, folks.
Oh, there she is. She's just going to slightly put.
It's just slightly.
All right, well done. Santa's little helper. Yeah. I did a review on a Donna Hush guitar, which was what happens is with these people say, yeah, I don't get paid for those reviews. They send me the guitar and they say, they send me I get one every day. I'll get at least one person saying, you know, do you want to promote this? Do you want to promote that? I had one the other day for a push-up bra. I swear to God, you know, I mean, although I suppose that's not that unusual these days, is it? Hey, asking a guy to do it. But there you go. So I sort of got rid of that one pretty quick. But I get asked to do them. Now the ones I'm interested in, I'll do anyway, because if I think you might be interested in them, then I'll do it. They send me the thing and I'll review it. It's like I've got a guitar over there. You saw me doing one with the Aeroband guitar, which I like the sound of. I like the idea of it, so I brought it in. It's been slated on the internet by everyone really, but I like fingerstyle guitar, and it does have its uses. And I actually used it to good effect on my new album, which I'm not playing to anyone yet. You'll have to wait, but it's coming out on vinyl and download in a few months' time. It's all finished now, so you can actually, it worked really well. And so Donna Hush, they do travel guitars, and I mistakenly thought you could get it in a bloody briefcase, and not a briefcase, a suitcase. Which you can't. It does have a separate little bag with it. So I was demonstrating that. Now, why was I interested in that? Well, it was nylon, had nylon strings on it as opposed to steel strings. So I reviewed that, and it wasn't bad. It was all right. There was, you know, some of these things, they're not really well set up when they come out the factory. So they're not. You know, you've got to fiddle with them to get them right. But if you can fiddle, if you're prepared to spend an extra 50 quid. Taking it to a luthier to get it set up properly, then it's worth it, you know, especially if you're travelling around, which is why I thought you might be interested in it. So I did that one, which was a Donna Hush review. I did Life's a Gas by the wonderful Mark Bolan. I love Mark Bolan. It's Bolan that got us into music, you know, pop music. Before that, it was folk music, you know, because my dad, he taught me how to play all the folky stuff. But, you know, Bolan. I could have loved you, girl, like a planet. I could have changed your heart to a star. But it really doesn't matter at all. No, it really doesn't matter at all. Life's a gas. So we did that. A wonderful song by Mr. Mark Bolan and the great band T-Rex. And then some kids. Can you hear the kids next door? Their mum and dad got them a swimming pool. It's Felix. He watches this. He's probably not watching now. I can hear him in the bloody swimming pool, but his dad might be. So they're having fun in It must be free. It must be freezing, you know. Anyway, if you can hear any kids messing around in the background, it's my neighbours having fun in a new little pool they've got. The last video I did was it was called a soloing trick that will blow your mind. A soloing trick that will blow your mind. Now, the reason I say that, it was, but the video itself since Wednesday has got over 50,000 views, so it's been one of my most popular ones. To get that many views in that short time is quite remarkable for my little channel. So why was it popular? Well, about 4 months ago, I put up a video called "The Only Scale You Really Need to Know." Let me just, where's the other guitar? Let me get my guitar again. And if I was to just demonstrate with, because for those people who are not seeing this, it's worth looking at. Take a couple of minutes just to explain. Let's assume that most of you know the pentatonic scale, okay? We'll assume we're in the A minor. So put your first finger. I have two fingers. In my head, I think of minor scale with the first finger and major scale with the little finger. That's all I think about, because when you're playing live, you haven't got time to be messing around. You've got to think on your feet, and if all of a sudden you've got to change the key of a song because your singer's got a sore throat and he has to do it in G minor instead of A minor or B minor or whatever it is, you've got to move quickly. All right, you can't be going standing there like a rabbit in the headlights. Okay, so this is how I did it. This is how I remembered how to move around quickly. If I was in A minor, first finger, minor finger on the A pentatonic. If I wanted to play A major scale, I don't go and learn a whole new bloody pattern of notes. You know, I want to play the same pattern as in. Watch my fingers. It's your simple pentatonic. So that was my minor finger on the A note here. Okay. If I put that there, little finger, that's now my major finger. If I play the same pattern, clearly I'm in a different position, but I'm going to play the same pattern. A, all right? A minor, minor finger. So if somebody said, let's do it in B minor, I'd just put it here, B note. B major, I don't know what's going on. Put a little finger there, that's what he said. So I'm on the B note there. Major, sorry. And of course you can do it with the Aeolian scale, which I use the most. So if I was in B minor, okay, if I was under B major, and that way, with just knowing that one scale, you can solo over nearly everything. The only time it might not work is if you're doing jazz fusion or something where you're going through the keys all over the place. But you probably look at about 5% of people that play that sort of stuff. The other 95 stick with rock, pop, indie, country, folk, all that type of stuff. All right, so that's what we did. So let's have a look at what we've got. Now remember, these questions, this is down to you. If you don't fire them in, then it's going to be a short thing. First of all, I would like to thank Craig G. Who's this one here? Craig. I'm just saying that.
Nobody already mentioned him, and then
which one?
Oh,
follow the.
Follow the follow-on scale.
Oh, the follow-on scale was amazing. Cheers, Craig. Yeah, it is amazing because nobody taught that to me. But thank you for the 10 quid donation to the channel. It all helps. Yeah. I managed to play my first improvisation to a backing track. I'm only 5 months in, but it was amazing. Good. Well, that's what it is. Now, when you're playing these improvisations, don't try and, pick 2 or 3 strings. Don't try and play the whole thing. Instead of going, instead of starting on the A, and I'm only using the bass note here, sort of play around with a couple of the just have a mess around, and that way you make your own little song. Try not to go and just keep starting from the same place all the time. Sorry, what is it now? Please.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, which one now?
I'll do that one next.
Okay.
That's first.
Right, so we got Phil. Could you recommend a tuner for acoustic, please? I could, Phil. I would recommend. I don't get paid for recommending them, but I just use them all the time. These, it's called a Snark. You can get other ones which are, you know, pretty good, but these are the ones that we tend to use the most. See that? A super, what is it? Super tight, a Snark it's called. Use one of those. Right, and we've got Eve. Eve's asking, I finally picked up my late husband's electric guitar. I can't play, but found your channel and I finally understand the basics. Thank you so much. You're very welcome, Eve. You're very welcome. Music is good for the soul. It's good for the soul. It's beautiful. And we've also got, is it Manuel? Manuel, who said, can you tell us a bit about Luca Bloom's style?
Yeah. When he plays,
he uses his thumb
and index finger.
and index finger. Well, that's more that I don't know the chap you're talking about, Manuel. But when you use your thumb and just one finger, you know that that's your traditional Travis picking. You know, Mel Travis, who that's named after. He was a great, well-known guitar player, and we tend to sort of pinch his. We tend to use that name, Travis picking, to cover lots of different picking patterns now. For example, you know, if I was playing something like. We tend to refer to that style that I've done as Travis picking, even though technically it isn't, because as Mel Travis used one finger, like the chap you're talking about, and I use, you know, it's more of a folk pick that I was doing, but we tend to refer to it now as Travis picking. The only other guitar player I know that uses one finger and a thumb is, you know, Mr. McCartney. That's all he does. That's why most people, when they, you know, a lot of tutors out there would try to do Blackbird, they get it wrong because McCartney breaking the rule, you know, scraping his finger over strings, and people who've studied music colleges and universities, they would be considered to be incorrect to play like that. So they always get it wrong. There you are. So there we are on that one. Let's have a little look. I'd like to thank, says Manuel. Thanks, Manuel, for that. Thank you for your donation. Let's have a look. What else have we got? I'm going to go and have a little look. Steve, hello Steve. Steve Ward, my good friend, my good friend. How are you, my friend? Nigel, good evening, Nige. John, hiya John. John Tierney, Paul Carrington. First time here, Rob. Love your lessons. Good man. Who else have we got? Craig. Hi from Suffolk. Suffolk, you know. I think I've spoken. What else have we got? Bev and Newbie. Malcolm. Brian Healy from Tampa. You see, I love all this. All getting people from all over the place. It's great. What else have we got? Terry Walsh, been practicing for 60 years. Could you recommend a tune? I've done that one. You know, what else have we got? That's a great big sound. Which one? The melody to Life on Mars is hard to sing. I know it is. Jesus, I had to lower the key of it. I did it on a 12 string. But yeah, it's a tricky bugger to do. What else have we got? Yeah, Gary Hill, Texas expat living in Nashville, you know, sending his prayers to his friends in Texas, as we all are. Yeah. What else have we got? We've just spoken to Eve. Oh yeah, what's this? I found your channel and video on Bend today, learning how to play All the Young Dudes. Have I done that one? Have I done All the Young Dudes? I know how to play it a bit. It is song down about suicide, how he kicked him in the head when he was 25. Speed, yeah. Where does it go? Demolition man is crazy, says we're juvenile delinquents, right? So I need TV when I got T-Rex. I can't sing it up there. I had to do it in an octave lower. What else have we got here? Thank you, Eve, for that donation to the old channel. That's great. I'll be drinking tea until it's coming at me easy. Lorraine Walker, hi Rob. Wild World by Cat Stevens. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild. Who else did that? So we do it, you know. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild world. I'll learn it for you. I'll learn it for you, Lorraine. And Tony says hi from Costa Blanca with a big sunny face, just to make us all feel cold. Wait, are these new ones?
Well, the within that you haven't seen.
Within you? Oh, I haven't seen these.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think you have.
Can you start? Let's have a look at this. Can you start with any note in the second pattern? How do you mean by the second pattern? Anything. If you're in a scale, say you're in A minor scale. I think that's what. Say. You can anywhere in that bunch of notes. You can start. So. You don't have to start there. You know, in a way, think of it like this. That's your alphabet. And with that alphabet, you're going to, you know, write little words, put them together to make little phrases, little sentences. We call that in music a solo. And, you know, it's exactly the same principle. And the great solos are the ones that people remember. You know, now you wouldn't start your book going A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know, you'd move it around a bit. So a lot of solos, you know, you play around, find a little riff that matters. And always remember that the chords, if I'm in A minor, all the different chords that fit with A minor, for example, the scale fits with all of them. You don't have to change the scale, you know, when the chords change. That's the beauty of it, you see. They're all related. So a chord progression, for example, like A minor 7th, D minor 7th, G sus, C major 7th, E minor. It all fits in, you know. F major 7th, E minor 7th, D minor 7th. And you could just play over anything like that. It all fits, you know. But as I say, you wouldn't necessarily start with the bass string all the time. So, sorry, Lynn's just pointing away. I'd be lost without Lynn. If she didn't do it, I wouldn't know what to do. Any thoughts on teaching some blues phrases or licks? I've done some of that. I'm not a big blues player. I know a few licks. Sun was in my eyes. My woman's gonna leave me. I hang my head and cry, and I feel like going under, but I got holes in my shoes. Seems I'm living for no reason. Oh, what the hell am I gonna do? You tell me, Lynn's dancing.
It's wobbling.
Should we end it?
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, I missed the note. Right, there we are. A little bit of blues. I'm not a big blues player. I like a bit of it. And I wrote that song when I was a kid, just for something to do, because everyone used to say, do some blues. What does playing the changes mean? I don't know. I have no idea. That's a question from Chris. Chris, I don't know what it means. All I would say to you is just do what I've told you with regard to the pentatonic and the Aeolian scale. Now, for those people that say, "Oh, what's the Aeolian?" I don't know what the word means. I haven't got a clue. All I know is, I use that one the most, the Aeolian. Let me explain again, because as I say, this was the most popular video I've ever done, so I'll spend a little bit more time on it. For you folks out there who are just learning to play lead guitar, again, you probably know the pentatonic. And I'm playing in A minor and A because that's the most common key on a guitar. It's easy to play, and you see. So let's assume we're going to play the pentatonic. You would start off at the 5th fret and then the 8th. 5, 8. Now on the Aeolian scale, you know, you're just going to add an extra note to that bass string. You're going to go 5, 7, 8. Okay? Instead of 5, 8, 5, 7, 8. And then instead of playing 5, 7 on the 5th string, as you would in the pentatonic, you'll play 5, 7, 8 again. So you'll have this instead of this. So 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8. The halfway house is just 5, 7 as it was in the Aeolian scale, in the pentatonic scale. So da 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 da. And then what we do then is, in a book it will show you the next note on the same string, 4th string there. Don't ever play it there, because you go off piste. Play that note there. Very, very, very important. Okay, you will play it there. Okay, look at my video. I did a video called "The Only Scale You Really Need to Know." It's on the. Just look back a little bit, a few months. The paperwork for what I'm showing you now is on there. Okay. In fact, I've got it in front of me. I'll show you in a sec. But to conclude, hold on. There we are. 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7. Instead of playing the note there, a little shimmy to your left. So you're playing at the 4th fret now, and you're going to play 4, 5, 7. Let's do that again. 4, 5, 7. Back to your 5th fret. Okay, your reference point. 5, 6, 8, and then 5, 7, 8. Okay. So just got to make sure you get your head around that bit. Now it's really important, that little shimmy to your left there, because if you want to do things like this, as you will have heard, you can't do it from there. You need to be down here. You get this beautiful little. You know, the Aeolian scale is much more, it's a much classier scale to learn, and it works brilliant with acoustic guitar, nylon guitar. You know, if you listen to the solos, Brian May, Dave Gilmour, all those sort of guys, they use that all the time. And they're really the only scales you need to know. You know, they really are just that one, you know, the Aeolian, which is the pentatonic with a few more notes added. That's all I think about. I don't want to overcomplicate anything in my simple brain. I liken it to driving a car. What do I mean by that? Well, you know, we all need to learn how to drive if we want to get the shops and all that sort of stuff. So we learn to drive our car, but we don't need to know how the combustion engine works in order to drive the car. We could find out, you know, if we've got the time, but it won't make us drive. It won't make us get to the shops any quicker. All right. So without sounding ignorant, you can learn as much as you like. The best way to do it is to just, you know, use what you know. Try not to over clutter everything, because if you clutter your mind with stuff in the real world, it don't work. You can't do it. You've just got to be able to think on your feet. You know, a lot of people say, how do you remember where you are on the neck quickly? Now, I've got a confession to make. When I joined my first little band called Buster, I was, you know, there were 3 brilliant musicians, young lads, 15 years old, from a place called Seacombe on the Wirral. I lived in Greasby, a little bit further away, and I was, you know, and people knew I could play, and these guys were looking for a rhythm guitarist, and I went along, and they auditioned me, and they said, yeah, great, you're in the band. And these guys were great, you know, these were really top-notch players, you know, and I was a good player, but I didn't know my way around the neck. I knew all the chords, so I knew how to physically do them. But if somebody said B flat minor, well, I'd think, what's that? You know, and it used to annoy them, these lads, because they knew more, and they said, look, you're going to have to get your finger out here, or you're out. You know, seriously, I could have been kicked out. So I was like, how the hell am I going to, you know, do this? So this is the way I thought I did it. On the guitar, normally you've got 3 dots, one at the 3rd fret, one at the 5th, and 1 at the 7th. Never mind these for now, don't worry about that. That's the dusty end. We very rarely go down. Let's just concentrate on the bits that matter. So you've got a dot there, a dot there, and a dot there, okay? Now in my head, I thought, well, I'm going to, it doesn't follow an alphabet, G, A, so I thought girls and boys, G, A, B. So if I was doing my barcode, G, A, B. Now that's important because if I know, we all knew what F was anyway, because it was bloody hard to play. So we all knew F because of the pain we had doing it, all right? So we've got F there, we knew that anyway. G, girls and boys. Now what does that mean in the real world? Well, if I know that's A, right? If I know that's A, girls and, I know the one to my left is A flat, because flat means lower, A flat. I know the one in front of it means A sharp, A sharp. So by knowing 1, I know the 2 either side, don't I? Okay? If that's G, girls, G, I know the one to the left is G flat or G sharp, all right? If I'm there at F, I know the one in front of it's F sharp. And people say, well, hold on a minute. I trick some of my beginners. I'll say, play F sharp, and they'll go F sharp. You know, and I'll say, right, now do G flat, and they'll go G. And they, you know, and then if the point is, I'm trying to say, well, yeah, G flat and F sharp are the same bloody shape. Sometimes you see it written one way, other times you'll see it written another. Now, if you know what that is, so say I'm playing B, say I want B flat minor 7th, you think, oh Christ, I'd have no idea. Well, think about it. B flat means lower, so move it to your left. B flat, get that bit out of the way. And then what's it asking you to do? Minor 7th. Minor 7th. Alright? B flat 7th. B flat minor. B flat major 7th. You know. So always think when you're trying to find the name of a chord, get the first bit out of the chord out of the way. In this instance, B flat, then what's it telling you to do? Minor 7th, 7th or whatever, okay? So the first part of the name tells you where you are on the neck. Let's have another, think of another example. Come on, Lynn. Standing there like a spare part. Say a chord. Today. For fuck's sake. Yeah, sorry about that. Go on.
B sharp.
There's no such thing as B sharp.
I'd say flat.
No, yeah. So B sharp. Now that's a common mistake. Lynn said B sharp. If you'll know if you played the piano.
I didn't.
Well, if you did, B, you know, I used to think there was a B sharp. You know, I think somewhere in music theory there is, but not, you know, the way B, you've got B there and C, B, C. There's no, of all the ones you had to pick, you know. So, so there's 2 positions on the guitar or a piano or anything where there's no flat and sharp in between. One is between E and F. Why is that? I don't know. I don't care. I just don't care at all. All I know is that's what it is. So E, F, and then the other one is between B and C. Why is that? I don't know. I don't care. I really don't. All I need to know is that I know it. Now, if I didn't know that and I was Lynn, right, then everything from then on would be completely wrong and the audience would be laughing at me. So, Lynn, that job I was offered you as a musical director, you can forget it. All right. Okay, let's have a look at this. We'll go back to this in a minute. Lynn's pointing. Frank Martin. Cheers, Frank. It's a nice donation to the old channel there. Thank you very much. For a cup of coffee. For your work. Oh, you're a good lad. You're a good lad. Thank you. Andrew. What? This is Andrew Clark. Is it Clark?
Clark.
Right. Yeah. What do you think of Jimi Hendrix 12-string? Hear My Train Coming. Well, I love Jimi Hendrix. Some of his stuff, though, as he, you know, some of it was a bit over the top. I've done a couple of his songs actually. I did Little Wing, which is my favourite, and guess what? No, hardly anyone bothered to learn it because they look at it and they think, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. But I did it in my, you know, with all the paperwork. Go and have a look at it, Andrew. But I did that one. And Craig G, are you planning on one more lesson that builds on the only scale you need to know for the scale to be movable from that one position? Well, it is movable. It's always movable, you know. I mean, so you can let's look at this. I'm going to answer this for Craig. So let's assume we were good. Let's look at B minor for a minute. Say we were in B minor and I was playing the Aeolian scale. You know, I could play it there at that note, or I could play it here. Look at the other one. If you look at the only scale you really need to know, all you've got to remember is what determines where you start, where you move to, is your root note. Okay, and then you could find the same notes in other positions on the neck. So yeah, I will do something like that. I'll have a look at something like that. But what I tend to do, seriously, is I just tend to stick with what I know. I try not to find too many different things. I mean, I've just done a new album now. Oh, which reminds me, a lot of people, I brought an album out a couple of years ago, which sold out on CD, but it's just been reissued. Junction 39. That song you heard at the beginning of this is from this album. Look, don't it look cool? See that? See, look at that cool guy there. I've still got the same hat on, look. Okay, probably got the same socks on and all. There we are, Junction 39. But all that stuff that you hear at the beginning of these things is only, you know, there we are, little booklet as well. Little booklet with all sorts of little jolly things going on. It's great. It's a good little album actually, I do like it. But that's now available again on CD. If you buy the CD, you get the download free anyway. Okay, so Junction 39. If you buy one, you get a beautiful little metal badge as well, which quite sought after at the moment. Okay, so you can get that from robfenner.com. See that thing at the bottom of this video? I'm looking at it now, robfenner.com. Go on there, and you can grab it there. It's limited edition, so you know, first come first serve. It'll sell out again. So if you're interested in that music you've heard, because people, I'm like you. I like to hold it. I don't like buying stuff in the ether. I want to get hold of it. This next album I've done, it's not coming out on CD either. It's coming out on vinyl, you know, with a gatefold, so you can read the words and you can see the artwork. Because the cover artwork is absolutely beautiful. I had a good friend of mine, Carmen Jones, do the artwork for me. Very, very talented young lady. My daughter-in-law, don't you know? She's done the artwork and it's been absolutely beautiful. So that's being manufactured as we speak, so that's coming out soon. I'll tell you more about that in the next live stream. Well, let's have a look at some more of these questions. Before we go any further, I've got to have a couple of paracetamol. Hang on. It's not good, is it? Why do I need to have a couple of paracetamol? I can hear you say. And this, Voltarol, the joy of movement, folks, apparently. The reason I'm eating paracetamols like sweets and rubbing my posterior with a Voltarol is because I was helping a good friend of mine, Helen, and my son to do their garden last week. And I don't know about you, what it's like where you live, but over around our way, when I was a kid, we used to have bin men, not bin people, bin men, you know, men, big men, that used to come round and empty a bin once a week, you know, metal bins. They'd whack it over the shoulder, you know, big, strong lads, and get rid of your junk once a week. Now we have bin collections once every 2 weeks, all right? And the bins are on wheels, right, to make it nice and easy. And the machine puts them in the thing. Now, which is fine, because, you know, if you don't have to lift it and you've got the automation, that's okay. However, with these machines, if there's a bit of rubbish that's still sticking out, if your bin lid is not quite closed, then it won't take it. So what you tend to find is that you get guys like me, of my age, on every other Thursday, you just see them down our street. We're all like this, jumping on with a step ladder, jumping in a bin, trying to get the crap down in order that you can get today's rubbish in it. And the same happens with gardening stuff. And I was doing that last week, trying to stamp this bloody stuff down, and I obviously pulled a muscle. So hence me eating paracetamols like sweets and with Voltarol. It's not good, but I'm getting old. I forget how old I am. That's my problem. Right, let's have some coffee. What have we got here? So VB, who's this off VB? Oh, thank you. Nice donation there. Thank you for all the wonderful lesson and guides you kindly generously provide. You're very welcome. I love doing this. I love it. It's part of the fun. Who said this here? My wife drives the car like she's in the Sex Pistols. Well, let's have a look. What else have we got? We got Chris. playing the changes means improvising or soloing while being mindful of the underlying chord progression. Well, the thing is, you don't have to be mindful of the underlying chord progressions really, unless you're playing jazz, because the underlying chord progressions in rock, pop, folk, and country and all that, they all fit anyway with these sort of scales. The only time you would have to be careful is if you were changing keys a lot, you know, and that tends to happen mostly in jazz, or if you in the old style of writing songs where there was a middle eight. The middle eight meaning a middle eight bars, which actually moves away from the original key, takes you somewhere else, and then brings you back to the main key. But if you're just playing your normal rock and pop stuff, don't worry about it. Thanks, Lynn. Right, Wes, what's this here? I watched quite a few of your vids yesterday. New to the channel. Have you done a lesson on In My Life by the Beatles? I have done it. But what I did, Wes, if you listen to the track, you know the Beatles obviously they had John on one guitar and George on the other. You know, and one would play the lead guitar, and the other one, say John Lennon for example, would go, and the other one, something like that. Now that's great if you got two guitars, but if you've only got yourself and you want to entertain, you could put a capo on. Why have I put a capo on? Because I want to play it in A, but in fact I'll take the capo off. I'll do it in G. So I want to play the tune, and I want to play the rhythm at the same time. Lenny, any chance, Mike, this coffee's gone cold here, can I have another one? I was that busy eating paracetamol pills and that. And talking, it's got Charlo, thank you.
What would you like?
What?
What would you like?
I'll have a coffee, please.
Okay.
It's not too much trouble. Sometimes a day would be nice. Don't be, if you, yeah, I mean, what was I talking about in my life? So, I worked out a way of doing it like this. There are places I remember, let's go, all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better, some have gone, and some remain, etc. But the key to it was being able to play the melody bit. So Wes, if you go back and just look for In My Life, it's on there, all the paperwork, everything is explained on how I did that little intro, then and you won't find anyone else doing it like that. They'll show you the different parts, but you can't play them all together unless you do it as I've just shown you. All right, so have a look for that one. But it's a beautiful song, and it's one everyone should be doing if they haven't already done it. That's probably their most famous track, isn't it? You know, it's a beautiful song. So I have done that. No, what's this one? How could I know how to create the seventh chord from a major or a minor? Okay. Let's look at. It's a good question. This question is from. Where are we? It's from Tony B. How could I know how to create sevenths from a major or a minor? Right. Let's look at the inversions of a chord. Let's look at the chord E. Nice, simple, straightforward chord E. E major, or E to his mates. You know, we just tend to refer to it as E, unless we do something to the chord. So E major, E, root note, major. Alright? Think of it like that. E major. If I want to turn that into a minor, I'll take off my first finger. E minor. Alright? So you've got E major, E minor. E seventh. Take off my third finger. Okay? So for the minor, you take this finger off. For the seventh, you take this finger off. If I wanted an E, a minor seventh, what do you think you do? Well, you take them both off. Right? And for the major seventh, if a major seventh is, imagine we wanted to put this finger here behind that one. Well, we can't, it won't go, so we have to spin them around like this. Okay? So, now if you know how to play those, major, minor, seventh, minor seventh, major seventh, then that's 5 different inversions, isn't it? 5 different chords from the same shape. So that's with E. Now if I wanted to play, now look at what do these three fingers look like? Well, they look like those three, don't they? And this first finger here now is acting as a capo, or a bar, as we call it, B-A-R-R-E, bar. Okay, now if I want, now I'm playing F now. How do we know it's F? Well, my first finger now is on the F note, the bass stroke note. It's not E anymore, it's F. F major, F minor, F seventh, F minor seventh, and F major seventh. If I wanted F sharp, this was, you know, I'm pretty boring you now. If I wanted F sharp major, well, I'm at F sharp. How do I know it's F sharp? F sharp means higher. I'm one higher than F. F sharp, F sharp minor, F sharp seventh, F sharp minor seventh, F sharp major seventh, and so on. Okay, if I wanted G sharp, I'd just do the same. Okay, so that's one. Now if you work that away, right the way down to the 12th fret, you've got 5 different things, haven't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got 12 frets on your guitar. 5 12s, I think, is 60. So you've got 60 different chords there. Just by watching that and doing that, you've got 60 shapes. Excuse me. If I was to do exactly the same thing with the A shape, now I always play A like this, and there's a reason why I don't like doing it like that. 2 reasons. One, I've got, my fingers are getting broader or fatter. I still use that word, fatter. Okay, so as I'm getting older, so I don't, this finger's redundant. Okay, I'm going to use, I like doing it like this. I do a lot of classical playing, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. So there's my A. Now my root note now is the 5th string, A major. I always damp this one off with my thumb if I'm not borrowing, in case I hit it by mistake. Okay, so A major, A minor, A 7th, where are we? A 7th, A minor 7th, A major 7th. So there's our 5. I'll do that again. A major, A major, A minor. Bring this finger down, take the one up, A 7th. Now the A minor 7th is just that one, the minor, the A minor with this finger off, A minor 7th, and then bring this finger up to your 3rd string, put this one down here, A major 7th. Okay. Now the 3 dots I was referring to before was as if I was playing the E shape, G, A, B. If I'm playing that shape and I want to move this shape along, as in, then my 5th string is the root note. So these 3 dots now represent, well, we know that our datum point is the A sharp, B, C. There's no sharp and flat between B and C, Lynn.
Hello.
Right, we know that now, do we?
Do.
You see on that on a piano, because you only got like two white keys together. There's no black one, and then further along there's 2 white keys together, no black one. That's the same way. There's no E and F or B and C. So, yeah, then move that, sit down by me. So we've got A there. So if I wanted A sharp or B flat, there's my B flat. Now you can put a bar all the way across if you want, but I'm only going to use my 5th string as the root. Okay, A sharp, A sharp minor, A sharp 7th, A sharp minor 7th, A sharp major 7th, A sharp. What else could I call that? Well, if I know that that's A sharp, if that's B, I could call it B flat. It's because it's the same. A sharp, B flat, they're the same. Okay, let's go to the first dot here. That dot represents C. So I was playing C, C minor, C 7th. So it's the same. C minor 7th, C major 7th. Now what's beautiful about that is, say you've got 2 guitarists and one's playing C major 7th like this. The other one can be playing. If you've got an electric player, now you get all this beautiful stuff working. Now I did a lesson on that, and it was called, I think it was, what was it? Oh Christ! It was about the cage system. It's on. I did 8 master classes, and one of them, I think it was the last of the 8, was called the cage system, and it was talking about different inversions of chords, you know. And I think somebody asked me. In fact, I made a note of it. Somebody asked me before. Somebody messaged me. I've made a note of it. Hold on. Where's my pad? Hold on. Oh yeah, it was river flip. That's a cool word, isn't it? Sounds like a dolphin. Asked me about chord inversions of A. So, yeah. So, okay, chord inversions of A. We've got an A there. Okay. Root notes here. So that's one inversion of A. We could have, if you imagine you were playing the chord G like this, and I wanted to turn that into an A, G, G sharp, A. Well, I can't just do that. I've got to put a capo, haven't I, there? But that's an A as well now. It used to be G, G sharp A. Another A is the E shape there. E, F, F sharp G, G sharp A. Alright, that's another way of doing it. What other one have we got? We've got this one we could use. That's an A. What? Looks like a D, doesn't it? Well, let's have a look at it. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. But of course, if I want to play more strings, I've got to put either use the capo or. Now, classical players, we would always do it like, I say we because I play a lot of classical guitar. I don't consider myself a great classical player, but I can play to a reasonable standard. And that is a different kettle of fish. People look at all these, who's the greatest guitar player? Jimi Hendrix. He wouldn't get anywhere near a classical player. He really, none of them would. You know, the best players do not play electric guitars, they play classical guitars. You know, just if you don't believe me, you try giving it a go, try and play something, you know, and you'll see what I mean. You've got to know the inversion of the chord. All classical guitar is, by the way, imagine you've got, yeah, let me show them. I've got one here, hang on. Because this is all about chord inversions. This is all that matters. So let's assume I'm in the shadows and Hank Marvin. You can order your pint while you're playing that, can't you? Great if you've got one playing one string, because Bruce Welch is doing this. Da -da -da. Da -da -da. Da -da -da. Da -da -da. No, it's all easy when you've got it all broken up, but when you've got to play it all in one go, you know, which. Now, the tune lives there, but the inversion, where are we? Let's have a look. We're using this inversion to play E. Now, what do those three fingers look like? If I was to give you that bit of it, there's a clue. C. So we're using that inversion, or part of it, and we're picking out our melody there. If I play the next shape, what does that look like? Looks like a D minor. It is a D minor shape. So we've got E. Oop, where are we? And then that's what chord's that? F sharp minor, and so on. But that's what makes classical guitar difficult. You're playing the melody, and as the melody moves up the neck, you've got to find the chord that you've got to keep the rhythm going. So that's what that is. Right now, Len, she brought me a load of stuff up. Telling you, how do I know how to create a seventh chord? I've done that one, haven't I? Dave All. Didn't know you were in Buster. Any YouTube visit of them live? Yeah, there's hundreds of them. Some of them are dead funny. If you go onto my Rob Fennah channel, robfennah.com, all my Buster albums, we made 4 albums with Buster. One of them we got a gold disc for at the back. The others were bestsellers as well. Big band, you know, we toured Japan, I mean, it sounds like a cliche, doesn't it? Big in Japan, but we did the Budokan, which is a 12,000 whatever it is thing, twice in one day. We were headlining. The band that were on the nights before us, I think it was Fleetwood Mac or something, or Bob Dylan. We were big, huge.
It's on Patreon, all those interviews.
What?
The interviews on Patreon.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, if you're on Patreon, in fact, there's interviews on Patreon as well. My Patreon platform. I put a lot of interviews I did with one of my Pete Lay, the great Pete Lay, guitarist in that band. When one of our albums was reissued, because they all come out in box sets and like big stuff. But if you go onto YouTube and put Rob Fennah Buster, or just put Rob Fennah Buster into Google, and you'll laugh. Because there's stuff there from when I was 15, right the way through to now. Because everyone knows me as being this fella with hat on that teaches guitar. But I've been in the music industry for God knows years, and theatre for the last 30 years, writing and producing some pretty big theatre shows, So, but it all revolves around music, which is great. Somebody's just said, Craig, thanks, Craig. I just purchased your CD and the download just to support the music. That's great, very lovely. That's
the same fella.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you very much. I didn't know you were in Buster, yeah. And all the back catalogue for Buster was reissued by Sony about a year ago. So you can buy all those Buster albums, which some of them are great, I mean, if you listen to the Buster Live album, you won't believe how old we were, There's some great stuff on it. And as I say, Pete Lay, who was the lead guitarist in that band, it wasn't me, I was a rhythm guitar player. He was, I was just fortunate to have Les Smith on drums. You won't hear a drummer like him. Kev Roberts is probably one of the best musicians I've ever worked with. I'm still good friends with Kev. He can play anything. He can get a tune out of anything. And it was fantastic. And I mean, I was the last one to join, but we had some great fun. Gary, thanks, Gary. You never bought. What is it? You never bored us. I hope not. Thanks. Where's my tea? You just reminded me. Thanks. Just reminded me about that. Johnny B. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Let's have a look at what else we've got. What does the seventh mean? I don't know. I don't know. I did a thing. Right, I'm going to do it for you now. Okay, you've asked a question. I'll tell. Who's asked it? The seventh. Yeah, it's the seventh note of the scale. I don't look at it like that. I don't look at it like that. Now, I showed you a seventh before, didn't I, like this? But you can also do what's called an added seventh, where you put it's the same thing, but you're just making it a bit more prominent. Now, I did a thing recently, because chords, to me, they have faces. My brother and I, my dear brother Al and I, we used to do a lot of stuff for TV, and we did. And we worked for Manchester United, Man United TV. We did all that stuff. We did a channel called Men and Motors where there was all motoring programs, and we used to do all the music for it. And we did about 100 odd. But when you're writing music for we've done a film, and we've just had music used for another film very recently, last week. But when you're writing music for something like that, you have to say, well, what's it about? What's the thing? And they say, well, it's quite sad. You say, oh, it's sad. So chords have faces. So, for example, if I was in A major, for example, a major chord is a positive, happy chord. Hey, sun's shining. I've got no work tomorrow, and I'm going to go out and have a good laugh. Right? When you're a kid on Sunday and you've got to get up in the morning, shit, I've got school tomorrow. It's a sad chord. Major's happy. Minor is sad. A seventh chord, I always imagine seventh chord, which brings me to the question. Bit of a sneaky chord, suspicious chord. I know what you're up to. Don't think you can pull one over me. I know what you're going to try. So it's got that sort of, sneaky feel about it. A minor seventh is quite sort of like, it's neither here nor there, whatever. So whatever chord. And a major seventh is a sort of those people who you see them, God love them, and they're always walking around with like You know, they haven't got a care in the world. They've always got a smile on their face. They don't realise the shit that's going on in the world. You know, sort of like, you know, that's a, a sort of vacant look about them. It's a, I've got other words I would use to describe them, but I'm not going to do it. I'll get into trouble. But so, you know, chords to me have faces and colour. They have colour as well, you know, in the way my brain works. So the seventh chords, I don't care whether it's the fifth note of the scale or the seventh note of the scale or whatever note. It doesn't interest me, any of that stuff. All I need to know is what does it sound like and how am I going to use it, and more importantly, how am I going to play it. Okay. You can learn about all that stuff, but you've got to remember that playing a guitar is a physical thing, you know. I'm going to do a lesson on Wednesday, and it's called "If You Can't Say It, You Can't Play It." All right, and this is really important because a lot of people seem to assume that they can get a tablature book or whatever it is, and that their fingers will somehow know where to go, you know. So I won't go into too much detail about that now, but I'm going to do it on, on Wednesday. We'll do a lesson on that. If you can't say it, you can't play it. Right. Sounds like a game show house, doesn't it? If you can't say it, you can't play it. If you can play it, you can say it. If you can't play it, you can say it. You listen to them. If you can't say it, you can play it. What else have we got? We got, could you do a lesson on God Only Knows? Yes, I could, John. I'm working on it. But as you know, it's a bloody complicated track to do, and it's beautiful. It's one of the best. It is one of the best songs ever written. God Only Knows, beautiful, beautiful song. And we've got one here. Is it Marshall?
Marshall.
What's this? How do you know? How do you know the augmented and diminished chords? Well, augmented, you know, the sort of you've got things like diminished. You know, I'll cheat. I'll tell you how I know. Say I've got my phone here. So say you think I'm clever, right? I'm not. I have a little thing. I'm going to show you what this is. It's cool. So say I say I'm playing a chord like this. It's great. And if somebody said to me, "What's that chord?" I'd think, "Oh Christ, I can't remember." So have a look at it. Bit fiddly. Great chord, though, isn't it? So what I would do, I would go on to a thing I've got called reverse chord. Can you see that? Reverse chord. And I would just plot in what I was doing. So let me just bear with me. Hang on a minute. So I would do this. So that's at the seventh one. Hang on, let me just turn this up. See that? Excuse me. I don't know whether you see the bloody light shining in there. You see that? So I've plotted it in. And according to this, it's an E seventh with a sharp ninth number 5. No, how they figure that? Or you can call it an E minor seventh number 5. It's not, it's a ninth. Or a D sus2 flattened fifth with an E. So, all, you know, now you can learn that. If you want to learn all that crap, you can. All I want to know is how to play the damn thing. All I want to know to do is how to do this. And if you were to ask all the guys that have used that chord, you know, they would, well, we know it's a ninth, but we say, well, what happens when you do that? Well, we don't care. We just play the damn thing. Nobody cares, you know, unless you're going to do an essay on it for an exam. And why you would want to do an essay on it, you know, for an exam is beyond me. Well, why would you want to do it? You know, because all rock and pop musicians, if you want to earn money from music, what you've got to do is you've got to get your guitar, or whatever instrument it is, learn your songs, and go out and play the buggers. All right, you know, you can read books until you're blue in the face. It's like golf, it's the same as that. I've said this before. You know, how do you play golf? Well, it's easy. You get that ball there, and you whack it in with this stick thing with a bobble on the end, and knock it in that hole over there. And if you do it, then you'll get £1 million and have a nice green jacket to wear. Well, there's more to it than that, isn't there? Obviously, you know. And it's the same with playing a guitar. You can't learn how to play golf by reading a book. You got to get on the thing, and you've got to do it. You know, anything that you're good at, doesn't matter what it is. You got to just put the time in. You got to put the time in. You know, and if you put the time in, then it looks easy, but really it isn't. It's just that it's like any of you, all you like fellas out there, girl. You know, you'll be all skilled in one thing and another, and you'll know how much time you've dedicated to be good at whatever it is you do, and you can make it look easy now because you've spent that much time doing it. You know, it's the same when you play a guitar. If you want to be good at it, stop reading too many books. Just learn to do. You know, watch a few of these things and get your fingers moving. It's a physical thing. Playing guitar, it's physical. You know, start here. But don't clutter your mind with I'll say it. Don't clutter your mind with shit you don't need to know. All right, because all it'll do is mess you up. All right. The great players, the great performers. You know, no, I'm not talking about orchestral players. They need to know music theory. Why do they need to know music theory? Well, they're churning now. They have to do sort of play different stuff every other week, don't they? Or every other day. You know. Will come in, they'll get a 3-hour rehearsal to do a brand new symphony or whatever it is they're doing, and they have to, you know, they have to be able to read it in order, you know, whereas, you know, us rock musicians and pop musicians, most of us write our stuff anyway, you know, because if you don't write your stuff, you're never going to make that much money. You'll make a bit of a living for a while, but you won't make anything unless you actually compose and write the stuff. You really won't, you know. That's where your main stuff comes from. So and what do you need to do that? Well, you need to know 3 or 4 good chords and learn how to write great melodies and some good lyrics to go with them. And I know it's simplified, that sounds simple, but really that's what it's all about. Learn to master the few chords that you know, because you look at all the greats, that's all they ever do. And if they want to change the key, they'll put a cap on. All right, and that's how you do it. Or you write your great song, and if you can't play something, that doesn't matter. Go pay a session guy to do it for you, like you know, they used to do in the Wrecking Crew. When you heard Paul Simon, he never played that. He didn't do that. He got one of the other guys from the Wrecking Crew to do it. Paul Simon did this bit and wrote the great song, but he didn't do the lick. You know. All those great licks, you know, usually, not always, but usually, a session guy do that you never heard of, you know. Right, what else have we got? What's this one? My account. Oh, cheers. That's under a little donation there, £5 to the old tea and coffee. I'm going to be spoiled for tea. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. An excellent teacher. 7th chords now has a face. It certainly does. I know what's good. It's the other face I like. That one. I'm getting hysterical now. It's getting late. What is it? Scorpio 66. What's the best strumming pattern for Frankie Valli? Oh, how's that go? Yeah, I feel like well, yeah, look at the strumming patterns. You only need one. You know, there's 2 main strumming patterns. There's a straight rhythm. What does that mean? Can't take my eyes off of you, Daddy. Or, you know, you can say, you know, you just take little bits of that straight rhythm. But if I was doing that one, I know the song in my head, but I'd have to listen to it. So, can't take my eyes off of you. I feel like heaven. I wanna hold you so tight. Now watch this. There's something in the way she moves. What do you notice? Attracts me like no other lover. I'm coming home. I've done my time. And I've got to know what is or isn't mine. Well, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Say noticed about that. I was playing exactly the same chord sequence over and over again. C, C major 7th, C 7th, and F, and then F minor. Famous chord sequences. And with those chords, these guys wrote all those different massive hits. Each one of those hits would have bought you a mansion house with a big fat swimming pool sitting in the back garden. All right? Each one of them. You know, and I've just quickly, off the top of my head, demonstrated that to you, you know. So, what do you take from that? If you want to be a songwriter, just keep the song. Don't forget, nobody owns the copyright to chord sequences. They belong to everybody. Keep your chord sequences that you're going to use for your own songs simple. Even if you're looking at, you know, you look at the great bands like Pink Floyd and all that, they're very, very simple chord structures. Very, very simple. In order that they can put complicated melodies over the top, or bigger melodies. Keep it simple, and then write great melodies and good lyrics. Right, where are we now? Let me see. We've got, best version of Hallelujah. Jeff Buckley, yeah, it is. It's a great version. Could you give us a bit of a tutorial on that sometime? Hallelujah it's just, again, it's just, you know, I don't know the words. Dee dee da da. Look at the chords. These are chords that you first learn, you know. It's a great song. Dee dee is the A minor, and C, and then A minor, and then F, and then G, D, da, dee, dee, da. C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G. Every doo-wop song in the world was written around, you know. I blew a moon, saw you standing alone, without a dream in my heart. I mean, all these great songs are just written, including Hallelujah. Leonard Cohen, great writer. In fact, to be fair to Leonard Cohen, it does branch out to some beautiful other little shapes as it progresses. It's a great song. But you're right, the best version was by, I think it was Jeff Buckley. Beautiful version. What else have we got? It doesn't look like Rob has made any mods. What's that?
I won't get booted for asking him if he plays any of Oasis.
Oasis are great. I love Oasis. They're great. You know, the one that you've got to learn. Matt Fennah. I think they're great. I mean, you know what I'm pleased about is that at least music has got a little bit of swagger in it now. I'm fed up with all that bloody sickly, crappy shite. All this. No, I'm sorry, I can't stand it. All that sickly, bloody, you know, incy, wincy, mincy stuff. You know, rock and roll is about attitude. You know, the Pistols and, you know, the Clash and Oasis and all. You know, if it hasn't got that, what's the point? You know, when I was a kid, you know, I was watching Alice Cooper, you know, and my mum ran over to the telly and turned it off. That's rock and roll. If your mum thinks it's great, it's shit. You know, no kid should have their mum liking what you like. All right? No, but my mum was into, you know, she didn't want to teach me Alice Cooper, Lynn. She taught me, no, my mum taught me lots of great songs, but they weren't Alice bloody Cooper.
It's led on.
You know. It wasn't Alice Cooper. It was like, Frankie and John, you were lovers. It was all that, which was cool. Anyway. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that everybody feels the way I do about you now. It's that one, isn't it? What's the other one he did, which is great? Step inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know? Where's it go? Step inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find a better place to Now they write great songs. I love them. I love them. And with at the time you think, oh, you know, which one do you like the best, Oasis or Blur? No, they're great. I think I'll do Oasis, and I'll do it for a reason, because everybody cocks up the strumming on that. They don't realise the strumming is, for example, that's it. Now that's the basic rhythm. And again, I'm going to do a lesson on Wednesday. It's called "If You Can't Say It, You Can't Play It." Now this is a perfect example. With Oasis, before you start playing it, you've got to listen to how the rhythm goes on it. It goes dum dum down 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 ba 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 da ga dum dum da dum 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 down ga ga da ga dum 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 da ba 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 da ga dum dum dum. So you know, I was in my head, sort of tell them hand what to do. You do it subconsciously after a while, but you've got to know what it is in here in order to play it. Because what you tend to find when people try and play that song, they remember little bits of it. They'll remember the main da da giddy da da, and they'll do this. Or something like that. When really the main rhythm is, you get your rhythm going then da 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 da, but your hand is always moving. And that's the key. We'll talk about that maybe on Wednesday when we go into the lesson. All right, so what else have we got? Let's have a look. Yeah, Wrecking Crew. I've talked here from Johnny, you know, Pet Sounds. They use them all the time. Great players. You know, and it's funny because one of the best bass players was a woman. You know, I saw her on telly the other day. These female players, you know, and my favourite guitarists, classical players, they're all female. They're not male. They're all female players. Absolutely stunning players. It annoys me really, because you know, I always, you know, because everyone you see, you know, we sitting here trying to play chords with veins busting out your neck, you know, and you see big lads, you know, trying to press them down. Yet you see like a little slim, beautiful woman just doing it, but with ease. Clearly, it's down to technique. It's nothing to do with strength, you know, and having a good guitar, of course. Always love the theme from what is it that Emily Barker did, but struggled with it. We'll have to check that out. I don't know that one. I probably know it, but I'd have to hear it. You see. So I'll check that out. Have I done all these, Lynn? Am I? Well, you're in charge.
There's a bit of a delay.
Is it? I don't know. You're in charge. Always love the theme to one. Oh yeah, here we go. I love Oasis. Hoping to find tickets for one of the shows here in America. I think there's Well, there we are.
Wales, wasn't it?
What is it? Are you using the capo because you have the guitar? No, I'm not today. It's tuned to normal. Does it? I should have taken the cap off doing that, shouldn't I? And all the worlds that lead you there are winding. Yeah, it's much easier. Why did I have the cap on? I don't know. Nick Drake's cool. I don't know much of the stuff, but well, I probably do. Right, let's have 5-10 more minutes of questions. So 5 or 10 more minutes of questions. All right, let's come on, fire them up. If I don't get any 5 or 10 minutes of questions, it's time for I'm gonna have some beans on toast. And while we're doing that, just let me remind you again. This album, Junction 39, it hasn't been on CD for a while. It's sold out, and anyway, it's just been reissued. Okay, so it's a nice piece of work, nice bit of gatefold and all that sort of stuff. Cool dude standing there next to a wall. That's good, isn't it? See, even cooler there with his, you know, like a little pixie sitting next to a mushroom or something, you know. But you know, the songs on here. Precious, you'll know. These are the ones you've featured. Blurred White Lines. You've heard me playing that. Enemies and Friends. That's the one. That was the one you just heard before. So we do that. What else have we got?
Some female players here. Carol Kay, Wendy.
Yeah, Carol Kay. Yeah, I've heard that one.
Wendy Melville.
Wendy. Melville. How do you pronounce the name? Now she did if I'm not mistaken, the introduction to Purple Rain, which is bloody hard to play. You want to play? I did a thing on it. Again, have a look for it. I did a taster, and I think people saw the shapes and they thought, I'm not doing that. But in fact, then it's over there, isn't it? Have you got it on there, please? Just have a look on that little thing. See if you can see it. Yeah. Purple Rain. See if, I was going to do it. Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, here it is here. So I've got it all done, and I was going to do it, and I thought, you know what, I'll put that up, and no bugger will learn to do it. They'll look at the first shape and say, forget it. But I'll do it if you want me to. So you lot, if you say you want me to do it, I'll do it. As I say, I did put the first bit of it on, just as a taster to show you what it was. But she's a great guitar player. So Santana. Yeah, well, Santana's great. Again, you learn the Aeolian scale, you can play Santana. You know, I love Santana's great. Do you figure the chords by ear when you don't have tabs? I never use tabs. What you do, I can, again, as part of the lesson on Wednesday, when I'm trying to play a song, or if I'm listening to a song, I follow what the bass guitar or the bass guitar's doing, you know, and then if I know it's in C, like I said to you before, say there's a song and he goes, start, hum it, give us a note then. F. So whatever that note was, Linda, I know it's F. Now, then I'd have to listen, is it F minor or F? If it's in F, I say, well, I know all the chords that go with F. F, B flat, C. So I know if something starts in F, what the other chords are most likely to be. That's the way it works. You know, we'll do more of that sort of stuff. How exactly is the opening chord from A Hard Day's Night done? Okay, well, this is a good question. There's two things happening at the same time. If you were going to try and play it on guitar, one guitar will play. It's like a G7 sus4. What does that mean? Put a bar there. Put your third finger there. I'll put your little finger on the third string there, okay? Now that's only half of it. I mean, if I'd ask you to do it, but it's a bit hard. So that's one. Now while that's playing, another guitar would play an F like this, a simple F, okay? With your two fingers held down two strings, the little finger here. Come down hard from the fourth string. So while one's going, the other one's playing. Play them at exactly the same time. If you've got two guitarists and go 1, 2, 3, 4. One would do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. The other would do that, and guess what? Magic happens. Now on the record, they've got I think they've got some pianos underneath. But I promise you, if you do what I've just said, excuse me, it'll sound spot on. In fact, I know that because one of the guitarists I know called Ronnie, he was related to, I think, McCartney or one of them, and it was him. He taught me how to do it. He said, "Oh, this is how they did it." So it comes from good authority. But you can tell because it just sounds right. Have you done any songs in the Locrian scale before? I don't know what the Locrian scale is. You know, I probably have, but I probably don't even know what it is. You know, any Glenn Campbell, like he was one of the finest guitarists ever. You know, yeah, Glenn Campbell. You know, you listen to that fella playing, he'd wipe the floor with all of us. He was just a stunning player. We know him as the guy that did the, you know, the little, Wichita, whatever it is. Well, I can't remember the name of the title. Something Wichita line or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But Glenn Campbell was great, but his guitar playing, Christ, he was stunning. You know, absolutely stunning. Can you show the easy way to play Love Plus One by Aircut One? That was good. I like that one.
I want to take the P out of my friend.
Well, then it's just like I can't remember. Yeah, play. Find it on that. Yeah, hold on a minute. Stay where you. Who's this off? PW. See if you can get it on there on that YouTube, and let's just see what it is. Hang on. I'll just read a few more of these while you're looking. 2 months ago, I did a tour with Muscle Shoals Studio. Great history of studio musicians, yeah, and well, the Wrecking Crew. They were. I mean, they were just on everything, weren't they? Those guys, you know. Wichita Lineman. Is that it? Is that it? Oh. It's stopped.
I know.
Oh, it's too late. I don't want to. I'm sorry, I'm just listening to this. It's got it's keyboardy in it. I'm looking at this 80s video with big pants. C, F and G. Guys, love +1. What else have we got? What's today's lesson? Oh, I don't know anything. I Rob. Did Glenn will play with 12? I don't know. I'm not sure. Right, folks, I'm going to love you and leave you now. On Wednesday, remember, I'm going to do another lesson on if you can't say it, you can't play. It's about how to use your ears and how to work on the strumming and all that sort of stuff. It's worth looking at that one. If you've not seen the latest one I did about, you know, what was the scale? What's it called? I've forgotten already. The Aeolian scale one. There's that one, and you know, this thing will blow your mind. Whatever it was I did on.
Anything you need to know.
Everything. What to call it?
Anything you need to know? No.
No. You're confused, Lynn. You're confusing me. Can't even remember what it is. I need Voltarol. That bin jumping's done me in. Right, okay, so Stay With Me, The Faces. That was the first record I bought. I went to buy Telegram Sam by T-Rex and it didn't have it. And as a kid I thought, I'm not going home with no record, so I bought that one instead. I've still got it, I think. What else have we... What You Done? Hey, 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 what you doing to me? Slade. How many people is out here? But do you know who Slade are in America? You and my American friends, have you ever heard of a band called Slade? They're brilliant. I had the pleasure to tour with them. Oh, well, not tour with them, but we did a few gigs with them. We had it in Germany and we did this gig together. It was great. Right, listen, I'm going to get off. I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. I'll be with you again first Saturday, remember, of every month. Don't forget not new. This album has been reissued if you want to get it. All the back catalogue stuff, if you're interested in that, you can go to robfennah.com. You can see it's written on here. Go on there. All my early stuff's on there as well, so you'll have a good laugh when I had long hair and I looked young, you know. And all that. And I didn't have to rub Voltarol in on my leg and any paracetamol like sweets. Okay, so Lynn, what should we sing them a song before we go? What can we play? I've just noticed that was my knee. That. What should we play? Should we play a summer song? Play a nice one to end. Yeah. What about this? This is cool.
How do you get a hat like that?
You're gonna have a fat head. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. You listening? I'll walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light.
accent. You don't have to put on the red light. 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 Put on the red light.
That thumping, by the way, was Lynn doing the beat on the desk, probably forgetting that the microphone was on it. No, it's good. Right, listen, thanks for joining me tonight. I love you and leave you. It's always a pleasure, and I shall look for. And thank you for all those people who donate to the channel. Remember Patreon. If you want to join Patreon, I put some behind the scenes stuff in on that. You know, where we're in the studio making the new album, the new record that's coming out soon. And I'll be putting some more new stuff on Patreon within the next few days. You know, how to change the strings on your guitar. You know, basic stuff that people struggle with. So Patreon, have a look for that. In the meantime, I shall love you and leave you, and I shall ask Lynn now, how the hell do I stop this from carrying on? Here she is, the lovely Lynn. How do I stop it?
Okay, so you go stop streaming.
Where's that? Oh, so here?
Yeah.
And then what I'll do, I don't want to do that.
End stream.
Right. Bye-bye, everybody. I sound like Susie. Bye-bye.